Hi, I'm Dinesh, the Spicy Gourmet. Welcome back to my kitchen. Today I'm going to show you how to prepare a dal or a lentil curry. I don't mean either or, but they're both terms used for the same dish. And so as we continue our adventure into Sri Lankan cuisine, we shall prepare this dish. It's prepared in two stages. The first stage is to cook the dal, and then there is what's called a tempering process, or in Indian, it's called a tadka. It's a typical treatment of certain spices that is added to another dish. So, welcome back. I hope you enjoy the dal curry. Thanks. So the ingredients required for this are the following. So we have fresh curry leaves, delicious stuff. Dal, of course. This is Masoor dal or red lentil. They're tiny, really cooks very easily and doesn't require soaking overnight. Some lime, garlic, white onion, Ceylon cinnamon, some green chilies. These could be serrano or the Thai type, as you see here. We have some rampe or screw pine, Ceylon turmeric, powdered of course, and we have some dried chilies, some black mustard seeds, salt, tomatoes, coconut milk, and some canola oil, or you may wish to use ghee. I prefer ghee. And if you might notice, there are two types of chilies, and that simply it's not for making the dish twice as hot, but chilies, even as they are spicy or rather hot, they have different flavors. So this emits one flavor and this another. And for the first stage in preparing this dish, what we need is the dal, and I'm going to remove the other ingredients so we see what's needed at this first stage. Tomatoes, we have the Ceylon cinnamon, the turmeric, and a little bit of ground salt. And actually I brought this back here because we do need to use the serrano or green chilies. Okay, so those are the ingredients that will be used for our first stage in preparing the dal curry. Okay, so what we do with the dal is first we rinse it until the water is clear. So it's nice and clean. Place it in this saucepan. Now we're going to add a combination of coconut milk and water so that the coconut milk is diluted, because this is rather a rich cream, and it's best to imitate what's referred to as the first extract of coconut milk, which is how it's typically prepared in Sri Lanka, which is the grated coconut is soaked in hot water and then it's squeezed through a cheesecloth, which gives you the first extract, and the same step is the second extract, okay, which is a lighter cream, lighter extract of coconut milk. So I'm going to add water to this, like this, and let me grab a spoon here. Then we're going to add a whole sprig of curry leaves. I'm just going to break it a little bit so it allows for easier infusion. Then we add the tomatoes, the green chilies, the cinnamon stick, and a touch of salt. Then I'm going to stir this, and I increase the water and the coconut milk, or a combination of the two, until I have about enough liquid to absorb and cook the dal curry. Now this is not critical because you can always add more as it's cooking, and if you see that it's actually becoming dry or evaporating faster than you anticipated, then you can add more liquid. So we're going to introduce these ingredients into the dal with the coconut milk, and finally we add turmeric powder, which is what gives it its distinct yellow color. I almost forgot to add that, didn't I? So here we are. So we bring this to a boil, and then let it simmer. And then we'll move on to the next step, and the final step, which is really an interesting phenomenon. You'll need an apron for this thing here. Here we are. Okay, now we're prepared to do the second stage. This is the interesting one. So one thing you do need is a splatter screen. You heat some oil, and when it starts to smoke, you add the black mustard seeds, and you're prepared with the splatter screen. So put that in there. And it's going to start to pop, like so. And once it's finished popping and crackling, you add the onions, followed by the curry leaves. Gonna keep popping, very interesting here. The screw pine. You stir that a little bit. Then what I normally do is add the red chilies, the dry red chilies. Followed by the garlic. So this is how you prepare the tadka, which is the Hindi name for this process. And you stir it around a little bit. And you do this and let the onions fry until they're a golden brown. But you want to be careful that you don't burn the ingredients. So I'll stir this around a little bit. Wait for the onions to brown, and then the final step you will see is adding the boiled dal. So there we go. So the onions and the garlic, obviously they've been frying. You can get the aroma, you can see the color. So now we're going to introduce the dal into this. I love this. Stir it around a little bit. Reduce the heat, because it was on high. In order to prepare the tadka, you reduce the heat, stir it around a little bit. Finally, I turn the heat off and I squeeze some lemon juice on it, which balances the taste. And then I'll add some salt and just refine the flavor. There we are. I think that's ready to be served. And this is accompanied, or rather this is an accompaniment to rice, breads, chapatis, parathas, etc. In the case of Sri Lankans, it's mostly either served with rice and the other accompanying dishes, which we have about 3 more to prepare to conclude our adventure into Sri Lankan cuisine. And also it's eaten just simply with bread, dipping bread into this. Thank you for joining me as we together prepared the dal or lentil curry. I hope you do prepare it and share it with your family and friends. And of course, for a complete recipe, visit thespicygourmet.com and click on the recipe blog. Now, for a much simpler way of preparing this recipe, here's what I suggest. Place all the raw ingredients into a dish such as this. You get yourself a napkin like this, and you place it over the dish, and you say to yourself, I am a spicy gourmet. And voila, you have a prepared dish. I hope you enjoyed that. Cheers. I'm Dinesh, the Spicy Gourmet. Until the next time.